Welcome back, everybody, to the We Are Not Okay pod. This is part 2 of Reid Harris's extended sexy interview. I'm your host, Jonan.
And I'm Melanie.
And, well, we're picking it right off. Right up. Right?
Hello.
Yes. Well, we're back,
So
man.
ridiculous in the building.
Wow.
DJ Zappa in the building.
I like how we talked about...
me to never give Jonan a soundboard that he has access to.
What's crazy is that, like, I have headphones in, so a lot of them are really nice. The horns are, like, low-key, like, I'm going to be deaf by age 40.
What's this one do? Hold on. Oh, that's kind of how, when I tell jokes, what usually happens.
Crickets?
Yeah.
So, anyways, look. So, we were talking about this story, and we've got lots of other stories. So, why don't we just jump right into it? Do you remember when we got arrested?
Oh,
that's a hot take.
This is the coldest open we've ever had. It's like part 2.
No.
Let's talk about the arrest.
This is not a cold open. This is a frigid air.
Oh man. Yeah.
So I want to talk. We should definitely talk about our experiences with law enforcement.
And here's another thing, guys. Not to like self-incriminate myself. I've been arrested quite a few times.
Oh, he's got a. I forgot that for a while on Twitter, his banner was his mugshot.
Oh, it's a great mugshot. Yeah. It's a great mugshot.
Do you want me to put it in the?
Put it up. Definitely put it up.
It's gonna be probably audio only.
Audio
and we just
only,
put it up
okay.
in the audio only, like the video. So.
Oh, it'll be the thumbnail.
No.
I don't know.
No, because it'll still be uploaded on YouTube, but in this portion, we'll just put it up.
So
flash it up, you know?
Listen. Look.
Jesus Christ! I was like, yo,
fuck the logo. We're doing mugshots only. Oh shit! I'm sweating. I'm laughing. Hold on.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm also really sweaty. Okay.
Hold on. Well, guys, listen. So we'll get into it. So the year was 2015, and I wanted to try. You know,
it was a different time.
Yeah, it was a different time, and I wanted to. So I've told you, Mel, I don't smoke weed. Well, this was the era where I decided to experiment in my drug phase. I was in my Billy Ray Cyrus era.
Remember.
Tell me.
Don't touch the mic.
Thank you, sir.
No, he did it by accident.
Hey, remember, fuck you.
Pew, pew, pew.
So listen. Yo, I forgot we were doing a podcast. I feel like we were just talking shit. So listen.
Yeah. That's he like we were just hanging out, and then he's out of nowhere. Just, hey, fuck you.
Okay, sorry. Okay, listen. So we're buying marijuana. Can I say that? I can say that.
I mean, it's
legal, right?
Not here. It's legal medically, but I don't think they can do anything about that.
Yeah,
we were thinking about buying marijuana.
Yeah. So
we didn't actually do anything.
So I'm gonna tell them the real story. So we were thinking about buying marijuana, and we went to we hit up our friend. You know the guy in your neighborhood who's like, you know, everyone's like, I'm in Miami-Dade studying film, and then Reid's like, I'm studying music, and then he's like, I sell weed out of my mom's house, and you're like, all right, great, out of my mom's.
And let's just like start off by saying that like Jonan is good at a lot of things, right? I think Jonan is extremely creative.
Thanks,
Jonan is extremely fashionable.
Thanks, man.
He's a good friend. I don't think Jonan makes a good like criminal. You know,
No.
like Jonan is not smooth or slick or like he's not a good liar. He's very rugged. So like if the plan was to go do something illegal, right? We're gonna go buy some
illicit substances
from someone. Jonan may not be that person for that. You hit up Jonan for your fashion advice. Hit him up for your life advice. But if you're like,
Content
hey,
creation.
we're gonna go buy some of the devil's lettuce. Jonan, the first mistake is he was driving. That's the first mistake.
Right. Oh my
Jonan
God.
is literally like trembling.
19 years old.
Trembling at the wheel.
And the worst part was that like we would be in public, like we were running errands, and I would like, hey, did you ask so and so that does he have the weed? Does he have the marijuana ready for us?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Jonan is the type person like without knowing to get everyone in trouble. Like my mom will call and then he's like, "Hey, dude, put the weed away." I was like, "Okay, she's calling the phone. It's not like she's here."
Like, hey, dude, relax.
You know what that reminds me of?
Tell me.
When you're in high school and like your mom calls and all your friends are like, "Oh my God, pass me the blunt!" Like in the background.
My mom would be like,
"Yo, shut the fuck up! Yeah, pass me the blunt. Yo, smoking is so much fun."
Your friends would do that on purpose.
Yeah.
Jonan doesn't do it on purpose.
I know, but that's what it reminds me of, like low key.
So this episode is just a fuck me episode, right?
Jonan's
it's an attack on me.
Jonan's the miss. What about the homework?
It's not my birthday anymore. You know what? Hey, listen, it's almost Black History Month, Reid. So you know what? You can say whatever you want.
You cut that. Moving on. Jonan. Long story short, we go buy some of the devil's lettuce.
Well, the guy, remember, worked at a fast food joint, so he would sneak.
Was it Starbucks?
No, it was I don't remember. It was a Five Guys.
A Five Guys.
So he worked at a Five Guys, and he would say, and the story of what happened to him later was crazy. I'll tell you really quick if you want. But he ended up basically, what is it? He's like, oh, if you buy number 5, I'll put the weed inside of your number 5. First of all, it's an extensive project, and why would you make me buy food? Because this is now this is a surcharge. Now this is a surcharge.
Maybe he's like a manager there.
Low key, like
he's trying to boost the numbers of the place.
That's a business mentality right now.
Well, like, look, you have to spend at least $6 and buy the fries to make sure I'll drop the weed off in the bag. That's crazy.
So we ended up buying the weed, and he's like, hey, let's go to a lake, because it's always great going to a lake and smoking weed, like as if that's like always the move when you're 19. Like, let's go to a fucking lake where there's other people running around in public. Yeah. So we're on a busy street, and I see an officer going on a straight lane, and I'm gonna turn right. And for some reason, my hands were like trembling. I think he like noticed. And when I made that right turn, he also made.
Jonan made the turn at like 2 miles per hour. Yeah. Like Jonan, like that. That's what happened. So like, if any other car was there, we would have just kind of like done like a normal turn. But because there was a cop car. You're 18, 19 years old.
18.
And like, so we're all kind of nervous. And mind you, we were a car full of people.
Yeah.
Like, it's like 5 degenerates in a car.
Oh shit. Yeah,
and like, dude, the cop cars come in, and there's enough time for Jonan to like go in front of him. But instead, Jonan like is like, okay, be smooth. Take, like, literally doesn't even put his foot on the gas. Like, just lets his foot off the brake and like rolls at like 2 miles an hour into this neighborhood, which is like clearly like,
someone's up.
Yeah.
Someone's up. We get pulled over. And like now we're all shitting bricks. Like we're all.
The cop does
bricks.
that thing. The cop does that thing where he goes up to us. He's like, I smell a strong odor of marijuana. We're like,
you would have thought that.
And I was like, and I remember
you would have thought that we were like El Chapo going against like 20 years in jail or something. Like, we have like $15 worth of shitty weed.
Yeah. And
we're all there sweating like,
I was like, we're acting like we're moving fucking bricks across the border. Like, and then I'm like, he's like, who has the weed, guys? And we give him the weed. He's like, all right. So we get promises to appear in court, and we have to go to court.
Wait. It went from one thing to the next. We're talking about the car, and now we're in court?
Well, no. So he gives us, at the end of the day, we don't get arrested because it's such a small amount.
Is it called the PTA?
Yeah, no, PTA. Promise to appear.
Okay, so basically what they're, in the eyes of the law, they could physically arrest you and like put you in a jail cell until you go to court. Or if it's for something minor like that, they can give you a PTA, which is basically saying like, hey, sign this and pinky promise you're gonna go. So you do that. Yeah. So you sign a paper that says you have to go to court in this day, or
why are you making me like I'm a criminal,
if
bro?
you don't, they're gonna put you into jail.
I'm just like so confused. I've never heard of that before.
Well, we were children. We're like minors.
So we ended up. So fast forward 2 weeks. We all told our parents we're gonna go to the fucking beach, and I pick all the guys up. We go to court instead, and they're like, "Listen, got to pay us $200 in legal fees. Take a 5-hour class about why drugs are bad. We'll expunge it from your record." I said, "Okay, great."
Yeah.
So Reid decided to go to the beach that day and get drunk. So I was like, "That's a great idea." So from court we went, and we were underage. So from court we went to the beach, got drunk, went home later on, and I think later on that day I don't know if you continued smoking weed after that point.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
You were like, man.
I was, thank God that I got a job, doing something that is like corporate where they do drug tests and stuff.
Yeah.
Because there was a time like I would just like smoke for no reason. like the activity was to smoke. One thing is like, hey, I want to smoke and play basketball. I want to smoke and play video games. No, like the activity itself was like, what are you doing later? Oh, I'm gonna smoke. As if that's something.
It's something productive to do.
Like, 5 p.m. I'm smoking. And
and I think the crazy part about going to the weed class was that there were people who with actual problems, and then there's me and Reid, and like I was wearing like a fucking Metallica t-shirt. They're like, introduce yourselves.
I don't
guys.
remember what era I was in. I've gone through a lot of interesting like eras, like with aesthetically.
Yeah.
I probably was on some like ill Miami fuckboy.
You wore
a man bun, I think.
You had a man bun and you wore a tank top, a striped Quicksilver tank top.
I wore a tank top like at all times.
No, you wore that cheetah tank top that you had to let go at one point.
Oh, dude, I had the same tank top. It's a black tank top.
It became washed at that point.
And, like it was like a soup. It was so old that it was like brown now, but the pocket on it was cheetah. And I just never let that thing go. Like it got to the point where like the pocket is like being held on by threads, and like people are like, "Yo, put this thing down already." I was like, "Nah,
just put it to rest."
So
dig its grave already. Damn it.
So Reid ended up. I remember we do this joke. We gotta introduce ourselves. I say, "Hey guys, my name is Jonan. I'm from Kendall. I live with my parents." And
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Is there like more colada?
It's over. I can get you another one though. So I said, we had to say that we had a problem. The guy told me that I was deflecting. I was like, I was smoking an ounce of weed. I wasn't fucking doing fentanyl. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So we ended up doing that drug class, expunged from our record. But afterwards, I stayed clear from any law enforcement discrepancies. But Reid Harris decided that he wanted to take a different route.
Some people can learn from other people's mistakes, right?
Yeah.
And then there's people like me that don't. Like I learned from doing those things myself. And I don't want to blame my job because I feel like that's just making excuses. But there was a time where I lived like half my life in Miami and half my life in New York.
I remember that.
You know, like I was working out of New York, but I didn't have like a home there. And when I had my days off, I would fly back here. So oftentimes long story short, I got a speeding ticket while listening to Georgia Smith because I'm obsessed with Georgia Smith.
Georgia Smith is amazing.
That's my fucking wife, and I got a speeding ticket listening to her. Like I was.
How fast were you going? Because when you told me, I was like, that ain't it.
I was going like 107 in a 40, but but in my defense, I was coming from a very far place, and you know when you come off, like you're just in highway mode. It's like 4:00 in the morning, and like you're just going. And when you come off on Killian Parkway by like Miami-Dade, those first couple lights, you're still kind of in highway mode.
Right. Yeah. It's like an off-ramp coming down.
It's like off-ramp and like...
And then it's a street.
And then it's a street immediately.
Yeah.
Like it's immediately like, hey, I've been in the highway for the past 2 hours. And then now like we're in the street.
So how fast were you going in a 50, Reid?
Oh no, I think I'm exaggerating. I think they caught me at like 98.
No, you said like they clocked you at like 105. I saw the police report.
No. I was slowing down when he caught me.
Got it.
I have a video just because I was going like 102 or something.
So you decided to take a video.
I was like, oh shit, that's a cop. And I started slowing down. And then they like got me at like 97. But that's no here nor there. Whatever. I got a speeding ticket. I got a crazy speeding ticket in Miami. And then I was like, yeah, I'll handle this later. The way the cookie crumbled, I ended up moving to New York. And then like I kind of forgot about it. And
I forgot that you forgot about it.
And then like, I was just like, yeah, I'll pay it like later. I don't know when I'm gonna be back. I was more concerned about finding housing and like where am I gonna like live? Am I even coming back to Miami? Like I need to find an apartment. And then I visited Miami again, like maybe 8 or 9 months later. And just resumed driving as if like I didn't have an unpaid ticket.
And my favorite part about Reid, by the way, is that there was an ongoing joke. So Reid had a 2014 Volkswagen Jetta that I met him, and it's a good-looking car. It's the years 2017,
I beat that
18.
thing to the fucking ground.
So one day Reid calls me, he says, "Hey man, last night after we came back from this venue, like I got a flat tire." And I said, "Oh shit, I'm so sorry." And he goes, "Yeah, I just put a spare on it because so European cars they give you like an actual tire, but it's." So he has an actual tire, and
I'll be going 90 on the spare.
So it says don't go over 60, right? So
pushing 85.
So there was a point in my life where Reid picked me up, and like the joke was that it was like it's Reid if there's 2 hubcaps missing, a spare tire in the back, and Reid drove the spare tire so much that he had to get 4 new tires and another spare tire because the spare tire was bald. I'd never seen a bald spare tire until I was.
Oh my god!
And there was one day it was my 22nd birthday, and Reid was driving me, and I remember I hear the car trundling. I hear like. And I'm like, "Did you get that spare tire fixed?" And he goes, "Don't worry about it." It just keeps driving, and we're going 95 on a pitch black highway. And he's like, "Just don't worry about it."
That little whip was está fuerte, man.
Yeah, but one day it just died on you.
Long story short, I had an unpaid ticket, and just from moving back and forth and flying all over the place, it's really easy to procrastinate when you're a flight attendant because it's like you're gone for 3 days, you're off for 2, and if you don't focus really hard on those 2 days, it might take you like a whole week to get something that's can be done in 1 day.
Yeah.
But long story short, I didn't pay the ticket, so unbeknown to me, my license was suspended.
Yeah.
And then
that's what happens.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And then I got pulled over. Something like that. My license was suspended. I ended up getting pulled over again, and this time the guy gave me a warning. But at the same time, at age 22, I just was a fuck ass, and I was like, yeah, whatever. So I ended up getting a warning, like, hey,
why do you sound like a 1950s minor? Yeah, something like that.
But I didn't give a fuck. I get pulled over a following time, and I get arrested. But like when I say arrested, like I've never been in jail. No, like I went to jail.
Oh,
like I was like thrown. Like I had like the Orange Is the New Black. Like they gave me the whole little thing.
Oh, what?
It was insane.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was insane. I spent 17 hours in in a jail.
How's the food?
Oh, it was. I didn't eat. I just like I was too sad to eat.
No.
Wait, who picked you up from? Why didn't you call me?
My mother. The funny thing is, it was like around 2 p.m. Like I was on my way to play basketball. Like it wasn't even enough. I was just on my way to play ball. Like I was gonna go see my friends, and then I just get pulled over, and I knew things were gonna go south when the cop didn't get out of the vehicle. Right? Like I'm sitting there for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then from the microphone of like the car of like the cop car, he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna need you to step outside of the vehicle." I was like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah.
You're like, and I
Damn.
spent 17 hours in jail, and
That's scary as fuck.
Oh, it was nuts. It wasn't, and also too, it wasn't like. I think it was just more emotionally draining, right?
Yeah.
Like I felt like I aged 40 years. Like I got out of
it's
jail.
a lot.
Yeah.
Stressful situation.
Did you feel rougher? Like did you start talking to people sideways? Like, hey man, I'm gonna fucking.
Well,
shank
I went
you.
to go visit my friend in the hospital right when I got out because my friend like had like some minor surgery. Like I don't know.
Are they
like,
okay?
Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. My boy Julian. Shout out Julian. And when
Julian.
I pulled up there, like the second I got out, my mom was like, "Hey, we're gonna go visit Julian." He just like, So we go, and he literally looked at me. He was like, "Yo, did you just get out of jail or something?" Like he could see it in my face. Like he could just see that like I had a fucking rough.
Were you with other criminals in there?
Oh,
like
100%.
actual criminals?
They put me in a cell. Like that's what's
What the
crazy.
fuck?
Like I had a cell and a cellmate.
Oh,
like, yeah.
Wait, so was he a cool guy?
He was a Cuban dude. Thank God he was cool. But like I walk in there and there's just like a Cuban dude like just like laid out in the bed like and it's a bunk bed. And
was he welcoming?
Wait,
like,
but,
hey.
like, I can't believe they fucking arrested you for that.
Oh yeah, that's nuts, right?
That's so
I just thought it was crazy.
They acted like you were fucking, El Chapo.
And what's
bro.
crazy, I'm sitting in there with like, and before they book you, like you're kind of like in a holding tank and like in cuffs in a holding tank.
What the
and
fuck?
like they're just taking you one by one and doing your fingerprints and all this other shit. And there's a dude next to me that's just like apparently beat the shit out of like someone's boyfriend.
That's good.
And like the dude on the other side is like half covered in blood. And they're like, "Yo, why you in here?" And I was like, like I was driving.
Did you have to like I don't know like take a shit in the center of the octagon to like make yourself feel?
Dude,
like,
the most humbling experience is when a grown man takes a shit like maybe like 3 feet away from your face.
he didn't give a fuck.
Oh, because there's a toilet.
Well, because there's like.
Yeah, there's a toilet's like in the middle of the room.
Have you seen a jail cell?
I mean, yeah, on TikTok.
It's like 5 by 5. You got like
Wait,
the
but-
bunks
and-
if it's
and-
more than 2 people.
And is
then,
there's no wipes. You're just using. Oh, why are we always getting to piss and shit in this podcast? So there was only toilet
Jonan,
paper.
it's you.
Yeah, Jonan has an obsession.
So
with
there's so wait, so
poo-poo.
100%. So wait, so there was only you just raw dogging toilet paper.
I don't know, man. I was trying not to focus on another man wiping his ass.
But do you think that he really cleaned?
Dog.
You know?
It's jail. Why are you?
I'm just saying. I mean, I don't wanna be asked to mouth with a dude that's got a little stinky doo-doo.
Well, I mean, we're not cuddling, dog. Like I'm in a bunk bed. But long story short, yeah, that's why I think it was a humbling experience. I do believe it gave me like ability to relate to some people. It's very funny because when I moved to Harlem, like in the hood, like people are talking about they have what they call a brick, right? And not a brick of like drugs. Like
okay.
A brick is like when you're in the holding cell, they'll give you like a piece of bread, like 2 pieces of bread, 2 pieces of bologna, and 2 pieces of cheese, but like they're not made in a sandwich. Like it's just literally like a sandwich made in the wrong order.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's like bread, cheese, bologna, and then they just wrap it with like way too much saran wrap, and they throw it at you like a brick.
What
that's
the
good.
fuck?
And they just literally just like pass it out like they're throwing newspaper. Like
They're pegging you like a fucking dodgeball.
Yeah, they just like
What
throw
the
it.
fuck?
Yeah.
beaming
What
bricks
is that?
across the fucking jail cell.
Yeah, so that's what they call a brick. And then like when I was like in Harlem, someone was like, "Yo, man, this shit tastes like a brick," and I was like, "Oh, I know what that means." Like I was like, it unlocked, something in my brain. But
Yo, that's crazy.
yeah,
Wait.
so jail culture, I can relate.
So you've flown across the world. You've gone to jail.
Yeah.
You've lived in different places. I mean, what's next?
Dude,
OnlyFans?
I want to be a father, man. No.
I was like, come on, dude. I was like, what the
It's
fuck?
like, what do we respond to that?
Dude,
One day.
If I had a kid right now, that kid would be a murderer. That's the next Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
That's Bundy Jr. right there.
Well, no, see, I think I would step up to the plate, but I would just also
and murder people?
I would resent them.
I was
no.
because I said I'd raise a murder, and you said I'd step up to the plate.
No,
so I was
I'd
like,
step up to the plate as a father, but I would say I would resent my child if I had a kid right now.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like there hasn't been a good serial killer in a while. Like I feel like a new one has.
Okay, wait, pause. So we had this conversation for like the Halloween special
Yeah.
where we talked about how there needs to be better serial killers.
Yeah, I feel like a new one hasn't dropped in a while.
Oh yeah, it's just school shooting now.
Yeah.
That's what's hip.
And that's not like that's what's hip.
And also serial people, I think now that like kill people, they just kill themselves after. You know, it's like a one and done.
It's like
you get 5 stars in GTA and then throw yourself off the building. Like, come on, bro.
You gotta chase. You gotta.
You know, in Call of Duty, when you get like a last stand, Melanie, like they're gonna down you, but you get like a one last. You know, you gotta go out with a bang. But I don't condone killing people. But I do. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna go. But Reid. Okay, listen, Reid. Next topic I got for you because we really have just been riffing. Like, it's crazy. I love it.
100%.
Reid, you got to come back, man. Okay, so we've got a lot. Wow. Do you remember?
The time that we hosted a fight tournament?
That's a good one. So yeah, Melanie. So every time we talked about this last night.
Tournament.
So every time we went to a party.
I just have one statement to say about this.
Okay, so why is it that every story that I've said, Reid, you got to do like an opening statement?
Because I feel like it gives context. It gives context.
Yeah, you know what? I respect it.
You're like I gotta
be aware of 19-year-old men in large groups. Like, just be very, like, there's always some chaos, like, you know, the ego, especially when there's an audience of women. Like, if you're around the age of, like, 20, 19 or 20, right? There's just something about, like...
You're just feral.
You're always
feral.
just one, what are you, a pussy, away from a chaotic situation.
Yeah.
Like, at all times. Like, that's just, like, you're always just, what, are you scared or something? Pussy. Like, only one person in the group needs to say that, and then it erupts into chaos. So just know that. Go ahead. Just know that.
So we go to this party, and for some reason in this era, Reid always had Walmart brand boxing gloves in his car.
That's not true.
Yes,
that time I did. It wasn't me.
Oh.
At that time it wasn't.
So there's two separate times though.
Well, Chris. Shout out to Chris, military Chris.
I'm finding out so much about like male culture, like men culture, by hanging around like you guys and hanging around old youth. I've just learned so much.
Do you feel like you've learned a lot
being
about?
A man.
Do you feel like you've learned a lot about me in this episode?
I've learned so much about you in the last like 2 weeks.
Oh God! Wait, your mom's listening to this, Mrs. Cruz. I'm sorry, Mrs. Cruz. You think she's not gonna like me?
Dude.
No, I told her that you told me that, by the way, and she's like, "Why wouldn't I like him? I think he's a good kid. He's just a little crazy."
Yo, hey, shout out to Mrs. Cruz. Mrs. Cruz, I love you.
No, she loves you. She loves you.
But yeah, dude, it's interesting. Like, I think an audience of women, for whatever reason, is like very valuable to men.
So yeah, because you're in your formative years. Yeah, a girl says, "Hey, I think you're acting XYZ."
I remember too. It's happened multiple times. I was playing Wii at the time.
That was what was hip back then.
I was playing Smash Bros.
Thank you for aging us.
And eating pizza. Yeah, and then there's this dude that's like, "Yo, dog, I heard you box. Do you want to box me?" And I was like, "Nah, bro. Like, I'm straight. Like, I'm like eating. Like, I'm playing Wii."
So to rewind
but there's
the story,
girls watching, right? So there's girls. So now he's like, "What are you, pussy?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." Like,
to backtrack here. In that party, so we used to buy alcohol from this guy in the corner of like a fucking convenience store.
Okay.
And he would just be like, we'd be like, "Hey, can I buy this?" And the guy would be like, "It's like a $3 thing." He'd be like, $8. And then he'd be like, he'd just give you the bag and be like, "Where'd you park?" Kind of thing. You know, it's almost like he was berating you to get out, but he also wanted that little extra. You know, he would hook you up. So, you know,
he had a weird vibe because he knew, like, it was common knowledge that you didn't have an ID, but he still sassed you. Like, you went in there and you're like, "Hey," you're just like, "Yo, like, I'm gonna buy this," and he's like, $10, bro. Yeah. Like, he's like mad at you. Like, he came in there, but he's not gonna tell you no. Like,
understandable.
He's just angry.
Yeah, he knew we were up to, he was just like, these little fucking rascals. But he was a nice guy, and I remember and I remember one time I bought a Smirnoff Ice because I have IBS, and I would get my Smirnoff Ice because my 40s.
IBS?
Irritable bowel syndrome. Remember my asshole?
Remember my asshole.
So yeah, that's a good episode name. I'm kidding.
Remember my asshole.
I remember the asshole like it was yesterday. So
asshole. Haven't heard that name in years. Hit cigarette.
There she goes.
Asshole.
There she goes.
Haven't heard that name in years.
There she goes, the beached asshole. The rare beached asshole.
Okay, continue.
So basically we
What?
So basically we go. Jesus, it's a long soundbite. All right, so we go to this party. And we're drinking, and I'm just happy to be there, you know. I'm just hanging around my friends, and some guy tells me, "Yo, bro, what are you?" And then finally, Reid's like, "You know what? Let's scrap."
Again, and I think that's all it takes, right? Like, I'm very civil. I was very cozy, and I'm like, dude, I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I'm confident in myself.
Yeah, but
the second they said those keywords, what are you? Pussy. Like, that's all it takes. That's all it takes.
You're sitting there and you're just like echoing in your mind. You're with like a switch or like the remote control. There's no switch at this point. Yeah, you're just sitting there like pussy.
Yeah, exactly. He's like.
I feel like it's similar to like sleeper agents. Like it's like, oh, if the world ever attacks, like, you know, they put one message on, you're just like, oh, I must go to war. You know, like, it activates something in your brain.
I remember
seeing
the moment.
Can you imagine like the U.S. government just being like, what are you, a pussy? You're not going to go to war?
Like, we're going to Ukraine right now.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Especially because there's hot girls around, right?
Yeah.
And at that age, like, the only thing that is important is the opinion of hot girls of you. Like, that's it. Like, so if there was no one else there, we probably wouldn't have fought. But because there's a group of hot girls and someone's like, "What, are you scared?" And I'm like, "No." And so we just proceed to just beat the dog shit out of each other for no reason.
And we end up going outside to what looks like a street where other people can see this, you know, wonderful occasion happening. So we go there or whatever, and I literally am like, we're there. I'm coaching Reid. I'm like, all right, bro. So listen, you're really
on God though. I think I still have the video somewhere like deep in the
I found it recently.
Twitter. I put fucking hands on that guy.
So listen.
I put hands on him.
So for real?
I put hands on that guy. I really did. I fucking whipped his ass.
So wait, but I remember coaching Reid in between rounds and being like, listen, man, he's going in heavy with that jab. You got to hit him with the hook. And I remember at first they're like, oh, let's do light, like some light sparring. And that dude hit Reid with a fucking right hand. And I was like, bro, what are we trying to knock each other out? And Reid proceeded to beat the shit out of this guy for 6 minutes straight. Like, and I remember, no. I mean, they were fucking going full force. And, and you could hear like the boom. And then the guy was in front of his girlfriend, like trying to flex, and everyone's like, "Yo, you gotta stop, bro. He's gonna knock you out." And then you dropped him. I remember that. Eventually, he's like, "Yeah, bro. Like that was fine." Right? What did he tell you? Like in post, he was like, "Oh yeah, bro. Like I think like I pulled my shoulder." So that was like, dude,
bro. And here's the thing: is like
7 other people. No, it was like 10 people.
I think when I started learning like martial arts or practicing at all, like it gave me almost more patience to like, yeah, man. Like I don't like to just whoop up on people. Like I think that's like bullying, you know? So like now that I learned how to do it, when I don't know, again, 19, 20 years old, everyone's like, "Yo, I heard you box, bro. Do you really box?"
Oh, I remember. And then there was
do you really?
Yeah.
And then I remember for a while, Reid was like, dude, he's like, "Yeah, man, I gotta box this guy tomorrow." I was like, "What? Are we doing sanctioned bouts?"
And that's the thing. And then it became hip. And then it became hip because like everyone wants to take off their shirt and just beat the shit out of each other in front of people.
And you beat the shit out of this other kid too.
It happened like 3 times.
3 times?
Yeah. He beat the shit out of
because I think it became like, word got out that like, oh, Reid got hands, and they're like, "Oh, he's pussy. I go up his ass." And then everyone just kind of like challenged me, like I was like a gym leader. Like I would just hang out, and people would just pull up.
Did you give any badges?
No, I just
give
black eyes. I give bruises and shit. There's a video of a really close friend of mine that I'm not gonna say his name because I've already like, you know. But there's a video of me sleeping him. You know exactly what video I'm talking about, dude.
We're talking about. We're talking about steroids.
Whoa.
I mean, I could bleep whatever it is.
Yeah. He slept this guy.
I slept this.
No. I'm talking about like he was out. Like it's all over. Like
like left hand, right hand, and the dude like.
And his girlfriend was like, "Babe," and he's like,
"Oh yeah." Like it's dramatic. The girl runs over and like,
God.
And mind you, I never look for this. Like I'm never the one. I didn't even have gloves. I don't carry gloves around with me because I think that's that's an aggressive behavior. That's aggressive. I'm always ready. No, like that's aggressive behavior. And him bought gloves. gloves. Everyone got gloves, and it was always just like, "Yo, Reid, I've heard." Like, no, man.
He's like an anime character. He's like, "I've heard you've been training."
No, and like, and it always starts nice. I have a lot of control. Like, I think when you're sparring with someone, it's supposed to be a sport. It's fun. The intent is not to hurt someone.
Right.
Yeah.
But people who don't do martial arts, when they get hit, it triggers something in them where they get aggressive, and now they feel the need to hit you back harder.
Right.
And like, it's all fun and games until someone swings at you with full force and hits you, and then I'm like, okay, well, if you're gonna be rude,
right?
Like, if you're really trying to show out in front of people, like, if it's not gonna be a fun thing, we're gonna have fun, then like, I'm not.
And it's like, like for me, I'll say this, like, the audience.
And Jonan and I have sparred all the time.
We sparred
and it's never gotten violent. It's never gotten rude. It's never gotten. We've never hurt each other.
Well, because you guys like train in arts that teach you to
control. It's like,
it's just have fun.
And when someone tags you, again, like if they're not trying to take your head off, you get hit a little bit, and you're like, oh, good job, you caught me. It's similar to like in fucking Smash Bros. When someone lands something on you, you're like, oh shit, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But like, for example, like the listeners know, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and Reid he does wrestling and boxing. So, we kind of play off of each other's martial arts. And yesterday, we're teaching each other things. We're grappling. We're having a good time.
Kissing.
We're kissing. We're humping each other a little bit. Dry humping, a little over the pants handy. So those are aggressive. A little friction. You get a little rug burn. You're like, Jesus.
God.
So, we always have a good time, but there's a reason that I don't just start grappling with people, because I'm like, dude, you're going to get fucking choked out. And I know that, like, I go super light on people, but there's people who are like, we're going to fight for the UFC lightweight championship title. Like, I'm like, dude, let's just, like, relax. But, other than that, man, I mean, I think, so from jail Reid to fighting, I mean, really, dude. I mean, last thing I'll tell you, what was your weird thing that you picked up during COVID? Because I have to know.
Weird thing in COVID.
Because I feel like you picked up, like, you were a barber for like a second.
Oh yeah,
really quick.
Oh yeah, that is true. Well, out of necessity.
Yeah,
out of necessity.
I feel like innovation comes from necessity.
Yeah.
Because like I was getting crusty, bro. Like I was getting crusty. My hair was getting all fucked. I think I cut your hair, didn't I? I gave you
2 hours.
And it was a very, very mediocre.
Yeah, my hairline. I kind of looked like I was like 80 and 22 at the same time. Like I
cut my own hair, and that was terrible. Oh my god, because I couldn't see the back.
Yeah, in COVID, like nobody could really go out.
Did you do anything weird during COVID? Like COVID?
Did I do anything weird?
A hobby?
No. So in COVID, I actually went full force into trying to record my own music. So during COVID, I invested in like a Focusrite, like
Let's fucking go.
Ableton.
That's a little red one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're able to. Dude, can we be friends, please?
Yeah, for real.
Please, like, I'm so serious.
Yo, are you guys kicking me out of my own podcast? What the fuck's going on?
Jonan, I hate to tell you this,
but there's a new lineup.
She said Ableton, and I was like,
yeah,
Ableton.
Yeah, I mean, most of the people around me use Logic, so I'm gonna invest in Logic just to make it easier.
For me,
Ableton was nice though. The wavetable is really good on that.
Dude, Ableton is awesome. A lot of it's industry standard, but a lot of people, especially like at least where I'm, like in my circle, are on Fruity Loops because it's like beat maker. I feel Ableton gives you like a lot of like. I don't know. It's just, I think it's amazing.
It's really malleable.
Like, it's very malleable. Mind you, it's not as user friendly when you first start it. Like, I remember when I first opened it up, I was just like, I'm lost. But every day I feel like I'm learning something about it,
I don't know anything about this, but
okay. So, but it is industry standard and Wow.
I have a stroke?
Yeah, industry. That's
yeah, you got it.
Industry standard. Wow. I need to go back to school.
You said it too many times, like in a row, and your brain was just like, please.
I think all the stories of CTE is getting to us a little bit. A little CTE flare up.
Too much boxing.
But listen. Reid, we've had a few technical snags these last 2 episodes. But, Reid, I got to ask you, man.
Uh-oh.
When are you coming back?
Oh man, I wasn't even supposed to be here now.
Because we need you back, man. We got a lot of big announcements and big changes coming.
Are you pregnant?
I hope I am. Yeah,
Do you want to be?
I would keep that baby. I would be such a good-looking pregnant person.
I mean, yeah, we could try to have some like remote podcast.
Yeah,
I
would love to.
We would love to have you back, man. And listen, thank you for donating 2 hours of your time to be with us. You were our first guest, and you've been part of my life for 10 years, and you've been you're the first guest in my last podcast, and now it's really a blessing to see you've blossomed and grown to this amazing man. So thank you, man, for coming and
thank you guys
for being a part of this.
So do you have any plugs?
Yeah, plug yourself up. Plug yourself up.
Put out there for the listeners.
So I'm currently in the process of transitioning my Instagram, but right now it is so ridiculous. So my name is Reid, R-E-I-D.
We'll plug
and it's I'm sure they'll plug it in. SoundCloud, DJ Zappa Sound on SoundCloud.
We'll plug that in the.
And
I'll just take screenshots and post it up.
Yeah, just post all that shit. But yeah, man, I make a lot of music. I make a lot of beats. I produce a lot for other people. I'm currently working on my own project. Hopefully be out in March, April.
Ooh,
cool.
But I'm kind of working. I'm working. Hopefully I can get together with some of the we are not okay podcast members and get their opinions on my stuff. And
hey man, we're here. This is always going to be your second home, man. I mean, you're a first guest, so it's a really big kind of feather in our caps to have you, man. So
thank you.
We know that you're
thanks for
sought
having
after.
Me. Thanks
so
for having me.
No,
you guys are great.
Tell me any final thoughts for the listeners and viewers.
Yeah, man. New York is crazy. I think it's a place. It's a great place if you want to be around like-minded people, like creatives.
Mm-hmm.
Stay away from the subway.
Yep.
True. Sure.
And shit don't change until you get up and wipe your ass.
Wow.
From Kendrick.
Thank
Kendrick
you,
Lamar.
Thank you.
So, thank you, man. So, hey, listen. So you guys, you guys have rocked with us from the beginning for the last 6 months. So we thank you guys. I know we've had a lot of changes, a lot of fun, little wacky episodes.
So many wacky episodes.
But we thank you guys for always kind of sticking around with us and being, part of our lives and our kind of creative, because I feel like as creatives we've grown so much through these last 6 months. I mean, we've had our growing pains, we've had good episodes, we've had episodes where we're fucking falling asleep, and I think we've really kind of pushed through, and it's only going to get better from here. So again, guys, thank you for kind of rocking with us and supporting it, because those little messages of encouragement really mean a lot. So you guys can follow me on social media. I'm Jonan at JonanIsWin, Jonan is win.
And I'm Melanie. You can follow me at Moonraker Melanie.
And together we are not okay pod. Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Later.
Bye.